So Magic Johnson has had power in the 80s to get rid of who he wanted to get rid of. Kobe had the same thing. Tom Brady has that now with Jimmy Garoppolo no longer a Patriot. And I had the power to get rid of two guys from this podcast. See you later, PZ and Simone. Until next Thursday. Welcome into Calling the Audible Division E. GM has taken over the role of Simone, a much better looking Simone Dash than you say. Stefano Berardi, the, I guess, passive-aggressive scorekeeper.
Passive-aggressive. Well, I wouldn't say that, but all right. We'll go with
Aggressive.
Aggressive?
Yeah.
All right, sounds fair.
Feel 2 and Feel 3 for those who are in Papineau on Sundays and Mondays.
Yes, sir.
Alex Hollowak, we've upgraded the quarterback position tremendously. Sitting in GM role, just chilling out for the time being.
Well, I'm back. Thanks a lot for having me, guys. I'm glad to be sitting in the GM spot.
You've been had.
And
GM looks a lot better than Pease does, and I'd like to think that I look a lot better than GM does.
I think so. And we'll have Steph, and if you listen to all the podcasts, say Steph and Halleck will switch roles for the upper division. Then Eagle. Good evening, Eagle. We kept you. We needed you more than the other two pinheads. All right, it is Division E, as now we are halfway through the season. A reminder again for those teams out there who are playing Division E1, E2, you need 5 games to be playoff eligible. So from this point onwards, if you look to bring on a new player to your roster, please be forewarned that they have to play every game from this point onwards for them to be playoff eligible in the PZ bracketology that we have in late July. So let's dive into the week that was, gentlemen, and I'll start with you, GM. Week 5 complete. Division E had a lot of games. I saw a bunch, which I didn't realize till I have to look at the scores afterwards, who they were. But we saw one game together in Brossard, Quebec on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's true. I watched Vultures against Tropic Thunder, 37-7, and that score does not even describe how close that game was not. Like, that makes it sound closer than it was. I think at this point, the rotating quarterbacks for Tropic Thunder, Tyler Grondin needs to be the guy for this team. They need to stop switching from player to player. But honestly, Vultures looked great. Ball was distributed really, really well. Owen Biarski came up to me before the game, said, "Get ready to write down a lot of stats for me."
Not really.
He didn't really deliver, but I don't think they needed him to come up big in that game because that game was out of reach a lot quicker than it should have been.
Well, and Steph, we'll bring into this because I'm sure you've seen Vultures play throughout the season, but, I mean, you look at the team from where they first came in, and I ripped this team to shreds like it was like diarrhea that I was suffering through. But, they have definitely improved. I think their team is much more mature now than what they were. And just maybe they are going to be a team to watch out. An underrated, skillful team that they have.
Yeah, give them time for sure, especially someone who I saw even in his first adult FPF game. He's been tearing up FPF Junior, and I saw him in his first adult FPF game. Ryan McGrath. Mark my words, he will be very, very, very good. Give him time. I don't think he's even old enough to shave yet, but give him time and he will be really good. Ryan McGrath, if you want a team in the next coming years, send me a message. Because I'm calling it here right now, he's going to be one of the names that we mention for years to come.
Praying on the young. Yes, Stefano.
Well, see, I'm just going to agree with what you said about the Vultures because
they were diarrhea at first?
I haven't personally watched them this season, so I'm just going to go off the word of Mokan. And Tropic Thunder either. I haven't really watched them much, but I hear that they always are looking for players. It seems like they can't get 6 guys to form a chemistry. And that just seems to be their dismal right now. That just seems to be why they're not playing well, because they can't seem to get together and work on ways to win the games.
Yeah, but are you surprised, though, guys? Like Tropic Thunder, and I'll go through the roster guys, right? Tyler Grondin, FPF experience, right? You have Emery Sedur, who played in a higher division last year. Richie Montesier, who's played Division 3 winter football in years past. Alexis Dubois, who's playing in the junior leagues, who we know very well from the scorekeeping in the world. They have guys that, on paper, has tremendous oodles of experience, but yet they can only muster 7 points against a young, energetic team.
They have tremendous oodles of experience, but they're all individuals. No one has stepped up and really led this team. No one is giving them direction or organization. Everyone shows up, they do their own thing, and it's evident.
A game that I saw was Grinders against Ducks, 25-25. Everyone goes home as a loser in this football game with Ducks and Grinders. Okay, first off, Ducks. Let me tell you something. I like your uniforms, but let's get some. And Steph knows what I'm talking about. For those who don't know who the Ducks are, they have uniforms similar to the Oregon Ducks, but it's like a goldish bronze numeral font, and it is tough to see sometimes here. But the Ducks and Grounders tied up 25-25. Our very own former FPF guy, Matthew Dumont, with 4 TDs, 2 INTs. Ben Reed with 4 TDs, 1 INT for 229 yards here. Look, the Ducks, guys, they've had past success. They've made a deep playoff run in the winter season. Grinders are a team that we look at that, look, they may not be the biggest team out there, but they definitely can, quote-unquote, grind their way through. I was a bit surprised, but I thought the Ducks would have won this game because they had the better size, they had the better matchups, but yet they come away with a tie. Could that point really impact in the overall scheme of where they could be in the playoff hierarchy?
They also have a more seasoned quarterback in Mathieu Dumont, so I think that there should be propelling them to success. That being said, there is still depth on Grinders as well. Benjamin Reed at quarterback, he's been doing really well, and he's playing in 2 divisions at the quarterback position. So he's playing in Div D and Div E. So facing the defenses in Div D is going to be a huge boost for him when he comes down to E and plays those games there, because they're not quite as fast, they're not as reactive as the players in D at times. So he gets to bring that experience with him and really dominate.
Steph, your thoughts on these 2 teams?
Well, see, the Ducks, they made a nice run in the playoffs last season, but they changed their quarterback for this season. Last season, they had Frankie Scalzo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Who he was able to get that team working. Now, I'm taking nothing away from Mathieu Dumont. I'm just saying that Frankie Scalzo knows that how the team rolls and how the team needs to play in order to get those yardage and get the points up. And Mathieu Dumont, through 5 weeks, has realized how to put up the points, but like the chemistry isn't there, because if you switch a quarterback from one season to another, the quarterback's vision and all that is just different. Like he changes play calling, he changes everything. So what the Ducks were used to last winter, they had to adjust right now for this spring season, and it seems like it just isn't enough to get them that easy win that they should have. That win that they should have had.
I'm calling bull on you. If Scalzo wasn't an Italian, would he be praised like he is right now? Because
Put
you
the
are
team on his back.
I'm just saying, nothing to
if
do
his
with
name
Italian.
if his name was Frankie Kahn, would you be praising him like this?
Well, I don't know. People praise Mokan, so I don't see the difference. For some reason, they praise Mokan. I don't see why.
Turn off his mic,
but that's
please.
a different story. But yeah, nothing to do with the Italian factor. I just believe that Frankie Scalzo put this team together, and he knew what the players wanted, and that the routes that were best for his receivers, and it just worked for them last season. And now Mathieu Dumont, he has to realize what worked last season, but he wasn't there last season. So it's kind of an adjustment for him.
So do you think they'll take a step back with Dumont as a quarterback compared to Scalzo?
Not a step back. I'm just like a step too slow. You know what I mean? Like not like
timing.
Sorry?
The timing of the whole.
Yeah, just it's not gonna click as easy as it did last time. It's just right now they seem to be struggling. Well, not struggling, but like they seem to be fine. But like if Scalzo's was still there and Dumont realized what Scalzo did to put this team together, they'd be in a better position.
Just quickly here, to interrupt just for a minute, we do have comments in Facebook Live chat.
My God, look at that. We bring on
The
Halawak
most
and
popular. This is the most popular
Stefano
show.
Berardi,
Sick.
man. Look at that.
I'm telling
So-
you, I bring views.
So everyone listening right now, if you want to go ahead and join the conversation, feel free to go ahead and leave comments in chat. We have one from Nimrod Janikovitsky saying, "Great job, guys, as always." But by always,
We'll
you
talk
must
about
mean
him
when
later on.
Peas and Simon are not here, so
I like
good job
that.
on that.
Thank you, Nimrod.
And then we have Macandé Delornier, who says, "Domon's a much better quarterback than Frankie Scalzo."
Oh,
so
he's
let the
disagreeing with me.
controversy
That's okay.
begin.
That's
Well,
okay.
Halawak,
He can be a better quarterback on paper,
Yeah.
or he can be a better
Yeah.
quarterback, but not necessarily the best fit for that team.
Everyone's supporting their paisans over
That's
here.
what I think it is, right?
You know, the Slonia is backing Domo. Berardi over here is backing
the
what's his name?
Paisan.
What's his name?
Scalzo.
Scalzo. So who's to say at the end of the day? You know, like you said, they took a step backwards. Maybe they took a step sideways momentarily,
Yeah,
and the rest
I
of the
guess
vision is kind of moving forward. That could be also another perception of how they're doing to date.
Put it on the poll, please. Do we tend to favorite our own people over other people? Yes or no?
How many people does Mo Khan favor? I'd like to know.
I think,
How many
I
brown
think that's
people are-
called bias, and yes.
How many brown quarterbacks are there in FPF now? Exactly. So
That,
I know
that
one's a
seems like
favorite.
a GM question. I don't know. I don't know the statistics of skin-colored quarterbacks.
How tanned are we talking about?
Is it bronzage tan, or are we
Yeah.
talking about the spray tan here?
Like, can we kind of include Rod Meshtube in this, or is he too light skinned for that?
I don't know about that though.
Alex is pretty tanned right now.
pass
yeah,
for
he
one
can
of
pass as a quarterback out there. A game that I saw was broken ankles against Krakens. No, man, 2 weeks in a row I get Krakens. Man, I'm like, what am I doing? What has God done to me to deserve these teams to play in my field?
Didn't you say that if you had to scorekeep them again, you would fast for another 30 days?
I don't remember that. Ramadan's over today, actually, so it's all right. Ankles win. Ankles win 34-12, and we spoke. You know Jonathan Lemieux very well.
Yes.
And good game for him finally. I know we've ripped them a few times this season,
I
and
don't think we've ripped them. I think we just have high expectations for someone
in a lower
with his
division.
experience. Yes, absolutely.
right. But look, I thought this is a good game. 14-21 for 162. He threw an early INT, which was quite surprising in this game here, but I thought he calmed down. Simon Richard was fantastic over the middle for broken ankles. But you look across the board, this roster, it was a complete mismatch from the get-go. You look at Jiri Joly, who has no business playing Division E for his talent level that he has, against a team such as Krakens, who has some experience from guys like Carlo Costa, who played with Sam Ashtub in the winter season. And I'm forgetting the name of the team they played with the cool uniforms.
YA or
Yeah, exactly.
Team YS.
Team YS,
Team
exactly.
YS, yes.
Look, the reality is, and if we did like a straight cutoff of divisions here, there's no doubt in my mind broken ankles would be a higher E1 higher team in the E division. And for Krakens, I think their biggest question mark, and we speak about this all the time, is quarterback play.
Before you speak, just because I know you're super excited for
but
this,
you see his eyes.
how awesome is it that you have it right now after Pease and Simone complained for the first 4 weeks that they don't have it, and you have it now and they're not here?
So I was gonna say I told Pease I was gonna have it by June 15th, and today we're the 14th. So yeah.
Now, what you're talking about exactly is
So we started working on our schedule analyzer for the strength of schedule. With that, just to kind of give you some insight in terms of what we're doing in this matchup, Broken Ankles and Krakens. So Broken Ankles have a 40% win rate. Their opponents that they've played, if you subtract the games that they played themselves, which whatever, have a 48% win rate. Krakens have won one game, basically 20%. Their opponents also have a 48% win rate right now.
so you're saying the level, the degree of difficulty is far
Has been
greater
the
for
same-
Crackers
No,
or same.
It's been the same.
It's been the same
Same.
for both these teams.
So what does that say about Krakens then? Are they a better team than expected, even though they've had the same strength of schedule with broken ankles?
No, it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Broken Ankles are a better team,
All right.
but it doesn't really reflect in their record to a certain degree, right?
But the
One
reality
win
is,
difference.
like, we can do this analytics bullcrap all we want, and decide. We're gonna go the old traditional dinosaur way of football here. But the reality is, like,
Wait, what?
the dinosaur football.
Analytics is old football?
No, but I'm saying that in the mind of the old school dinosaurs, analytics is not the way that they do it. They go dinosaur way, right?
Since we're on this topic, just quickly here, for Division E2 right now, we have
Yes.
Guardians and Avocados both at a perfect record at 5-0.
And they'll play each other this week, which we'll talk about.
Avocados have had a 65% opponent win rate, as opposed to the Guardians with a 40% win
So we're
rate.
saying Los Avocados is going to win this game this week.
I think so.
Okay, the show's over. Good night, folks. Look, after 5 weeks of play, gentlemen, we've seen a few games here and there. I know this week for some odd reason, the football gods gave me a boatload of Division E games for some odd reason.
Because they knew that you were going to be leading the
Yes,
Div E
I'll be-
podcast
I'll
without
be-
Pease,
I'll be
without your
leading-
crutch.
Exactly. I'll be leading the fast for the next 3 days here for Ramadan, post-Ramadan celebrations. But I'll ask you, Steph, from what you've seen so far, the body of work of E1 and E2, has it met your expectations of the level of competition that we've seen per game?
Well, you could clearly tell who belongs to Div E2 and E1 due to the fact that the skill level is not that, well, there might be there, but they just have to click and find a way to win. But I'm taking nothing away from any team. I'm just saying that you could tell whether or not there's a team that belongs in Div E1 for the playoff run or in Div E2 not because of the record, just by the overall play of their strategies on the field and the play calling and the decisions that they make in tough times. You could just you just know,
Nice small generic answer from Steph Berardi over here.
It's something that we see every year in Division 6 or Division E,
Yeah.
and this sort of split is a way to try and mitigate it, but there will always be those games there that'll just drag on where you'll see that one opponent clearly outmatches the other one. We're just trying to minimize that at this point.
All right, so we have a bunch of 4-1 teams now in E1, right? We have Clinkers, Bruins, Rancers, the U, Vultures, all 4-1. In E2, you have One Speed, Zone 6 Ballers, who I promise we talk about this week. Number 1, Underdogs in E2. So go with E1 first, guys. Look, they're not the best team because Glowgang is the best team in that side of the bracket.
Right.
But out of Clinkers, Bruins, Rancers, the U, Vultures, who is the best 4-1 team right now, Stefano?
In my opinion, I believe that the Bruins, with Gabe Wiseman as their quarterback, because he knows the game, he knows what it takes to win. Although it might not seem easy, he knows how to get a team going. He knows what it takes for the plays to go. He doesn't risk much, and if he does, it's only because he has no choice, because he's down or there's not much time left, and he just wants to make a quick play or something. I'm taking nothing away from from Clinkers or Rancers or the U or Vultures. I'm just saying that the Bruins, in my opinion, I've seen them grow because I saw them on their first season, and let's just be honest, they weren't very good.
They're Cubs.
Okay, they were Cubs. They weren't fully grown. Then after they made some adjustments, they got better. I'll say that. And then after adding Gabe Wiseman, just changed the game entirely for that team. So that's why I believe that the Bruins with Gabe Wiseman, a healthy Gabe Wiseman, is a better 4-1 team.
Jim, your thoughts? Who do you think is the best 4-1 team?
So
out of these two?
I do very much like the Bruins as well. I agree with Stefano on that. I think that Gabe Wiseman is potentially, whether he has the stats for it or not, one of the best two-way players in Division E, or three-way players, because he can quarterback, he can receive, and he can play defense.
Yeah.
They have Zach Soren on that team as well. But I feel like there's a little bit more of a drop-off, whereas Clinkers, I find, are a little bit more evenly matched across the board. Like they have a much higher floor. I think that Bruins have the higher ceiling, but Clinkers have the higher floor. They're a little bit more consistent. They have talent spread across all the positions, and I think that they're probably one of the more impressive 4-1 teams.
Yes, Eagle.
We have more write-ins from Nimrod, but we'll get to those in Division D show.
Hold on. Just before you carry on, you were eating something, weren't you?
Of course.
We caught you. Okay, carry on.
Caught you. I'm holding the mic.
He started talking.
I know, but you
How
can
did we
see,
catch?
but you can see the Nutella going down his throat as you were saying, "We got new rod."
It's delicious. We also have Commissioner Robert Campana coming in, but using the Facebook Live chat with the Flag Plus account.
he's-
So
he
he
could
had
just
to-
walk like 3 steps.
For those who don't know, we
it's
are in the
against his
shipping
rules.
container of the studio while he's on the penthouse of this cruise ship
Yeah,
over
he's
here.
leaving it up.
So he's mentioning that the Krakens were a little overmatched against the Broken Ankles this
Okay,
week.
don't read his comments, please. Okay, enough of his politically
But he'd
charged
like
comments.
to know if the Goliath killer, Alex Hollowak, can give them some advice for taking down a stronger team. So, not putting you on the spot, but I'm totally putting you on the spot.
Well, you got to compartmentalize the game, right? If you're going to take on a stronger opponent, especially if you're a younger and experienced team, you got to go for those little chain movers. I would say go for the hooks, go for the slants, make life easy on yourself, and then just try to play a type of basic cover defense that just waits for the opponent to make a mistake. Because at the end of the day, this is Division E, and although there's a lot of very good teams, there's also some games that are laden with errors. So be patient on defense. Don't try to shoot. Don't try to be the hero too much. Wait for their team to make the mistake, and be very disciplined on offense. And I think that's probably your best bet taking down a giant in this div.
Yeah, of course, Eagle choking on what is it there? Puffballs over there.
That one was salted caramel puffs.
Okay, I can see your face kind of went. The team that I like so far, and no one's going to give them. You mentioned them right now, GM. Clinkers. Okay. They almost beat Glowgang. Lost by a possession. Speaking to Mark Angeloni on Tuesday in Broadside, he said, "Look, we were one possession away. Made a bad throw that could have tied the game up. Maybe we win, and we're the team that's undefeated at 5-0. A high-scoring offense, a pretty good defense, and." When it's all said and done, and perhaps Eagle might have the strength of schedule for them lined up here, they could probably be a higher E1 playoff team. And if you look at their winter season, this team that was together for the winter season, which they lost, I mean, they couldn't score points, but now they're scoring points like that. And I think that could be a real X factor for them as we move towards the second half of the season.
Clinkers' opponents have a 60% win rate.
Yeah, and to be 4-1, they were literally one possession away from being 5-0. And their remaining schedule, they'll crack Tropic Thunder by, I think, like 50 points. So give me, if you put the line at plus 40, minus 40 for Clinkers, give me 45 points. They'll win that by 45 points. You got Ducks, which will be a good test for them. Grinders will be a good test because Grinders will play the Ducks very tough. Rancers will be the ultimate test for them because they too are up there in terms of how well they've been. They're undefeated. If they could be 8-2, I think the Clingers could be your favorites moving towards the playoffs in late July. So we'll see what happens with that. E2, 1 speed, Zone 6 ballers, number 1 underdogs. Steph, I'll ask you this question. Who is the best 4-1 team amongst those group of teams?
Well, I haven't watched many like this division, this category of Divi. I've seen 1 speed power a couple times. I feel like Will is coming along as a quarterback. At first, it was just like he wasn't sure what it took to get the job done, but he grew over time. Like he makes smarter decisions. He makes smarter plays. He doesn't always force the ball. He always has his friend James 21 James. It's
James Joseph.
Joseph James, yeah, him. He's always the guy that Will turns to if he doesn't see anybody else, and he has sure hands. So if he utilizes that connection, that works in their favor. 1 speed power's defense is good enough to get the job done, but it all comes down to how long Will can continue remaining calm and not lose confidence. Let's say if this first play that goes
A rhythm quarterback.
Yeah, he has to maintain his confidence no matter what happens, whether it's his first throw is an interception or it's a bad snap or something. He has to remain confident, and their team will be good for the rest of the season.
Jim, what are your thoughts on this side of the bracket of teams that we listed?
Who are the best?
Who is the best team in your mind with 1 speed power, Zone 6 ballers, number 1, dogs?
OSP are hard not to pick as an easy front runner for this. You have a section later on that says what teams impressed you, and it's hard not to pick top dogs for that as well. So they kind of cover both of this, but underdogs have impressed me so far in their style of play. If I'm not picking 1 speed power for who the best team here is, in my opinion, I've got to go with underdogs as the close second, especially considering they beat 1 speed power.
Okay, even though he lost to 1 speed power, and I'm going to Zone 6 ballers. I like this team a lot, man. This guy, Val Bernard, he's played well up until now. He had a rough game against 1 speed power a month ago, but they're now in a 3-game winning streak. And Eagle, you played against them back in week 2 at Saint Laurent, and I think you said you came away slightly impressed by their skill set. It's a matter of experience, repetitions for them to get better. But they're on a 3-game winning streak. They beat number 1 over the week, so they're now both tied at 4-1. In fact, all 4 teams are 4-1 in that side of the bracket. They definitely could be solid E1 playoff teams here. But in your mind, your thought right now about this team with Zone 6 ballers and where they can go?
I think that they will do really well against teams that don't know FPF, but will struggle against other teams who understand systems. And so I'm going to say, I'm not going to shit on them on air or whatever, but there's weaknesses that if you know the league, you know where they are. No, I'm not going to do that.
Wait, this is not the Pentagon here. What's wrong with you? You're not telling the North Korea, USA secrets over here what happened in Singapore.
What he's saying is he's not going to undercut the development of teams who are working to get better, especially in E.
Yeah. All right. If this is Division A, would you undercut some teams?
Oh, absolutely. Entirely. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Protecting the sheep, huh?
No, it's unfair to a team who's new to basically say you're bad because you don't know how to do this. Right?
Yeah, but if you point out their flaws, though, when they want to know, hey, we don't.
But exactly, why would I single out?
He can point that out to them discreetly on the sideline, not to the entire division who are watching this publicly.
Yeah. Basically, for another team that's also new, who I didn't watch or didn't play against, I'm not going to advertise what I consider weak against them, right?
I love watching Mo get a glimpse of humanity on his face as he realizes that's probably the right thing to do.
There is no right. There is no right way.
He's built a following around calling those teams out right at the source. So.
Well, Zone 6 ballers, they've taken out number 1. They have underdogs this week, and I'll go around the table here with you 3 gentlemen. If they beat underdogs, Zone 6 ballers, are they the best team in E2 given the quality of wins and the quality of loss? And Eagle will pop up that strength of schedule for them momentarily here. But if they beat underdogs, would they be the best team in that side of the bracket? No. Okay, fair enough. You, Steph?
I believe that they'll be a good team, but the best would be a stretch.
Eagle.
Statistically, Zone 6 ballers have had a harder schedule to date, but not by much. So
if
underdogs beat them, I think they're the better team.
What is the percentage strength right
65 to 60. Zone 6 ballers, 2 underdogs.
I think my point has been proven. They're the best team in Division E2.
Besides Guardians, Los Avocados, One Speed Power.
Well, if someone's going to lose with that, we'll talk about the
Joes.
game until
I
it's
even think Average Joes at 3-2 are probably a better team.
So if you, so here's a good question for you. If we had a one-off right now, Average Joes against Zone 6 Ballers, you're taking Average Joes?
Yes.
Gentlemen, Eagle, you're not taking them? No. Steph, you're the tiebreaker.
I would take the Average Joes. It seems like they have the veteran part of the Flag Plus, and it'll work in their favor.
Their 3 wins have come against teams who are at 30% win rate, so I don't trust that.
Analytics coming through in fine form.
I feel like you were talking shit about analytics before, but now they seem to back.
They
you up.
are.
Because
They
it
are
suits
good
them
spot,
now.
man.
It suits
They're
them
in a good
now.
Don't worry
spot,
about when it
Tom?
suits me. It's the present moment that suits me the best. All right, mid-season report cards. We're at the halfway point of the year, guys. We'll go through the individual awards first. Who you think could be the quarterback of the year, receiver of the year, defense 2 of the year? I will start with you, GM. Who do you think will be the quarterback of the year in the E side of the division?
Pat Sayama, not even close.
Landslide, do you believe that so, Steph?
I believe that they use Evan Frank.
Yes.
Evan Frank, he has what it takes to. If he continues this level of play that he's at, he's playing smart. He's spreading the ball well. He seems to. Their record is 4-1. 4-1. The U is a good team. They've been here before. They know what it takes. Evan Frank is just gonna continue playing his game, and if he doesn't change his ways, he's my favorite for the
He's
quarterback.
averaging just a shade above 200 yards per game, 5 TDs per game, and only 4 INTs on 118 attempts, which is almost 1 INT for 50 passing attempts, which is pretty impressive. Good stats there. Yes, Eagle.
Just for those who don't know how awards work, can you kind of fill them in?
Yes, the corrupt media, which is us. I don't vote because I think these awards are blasphemous at times. We vote on the quarterback of the year, receiver of the year, two-way, and defensive player of the year. And is it stats driven? I think, GM, would you say so from our time of voting?
Is it stats driven?
Yeah.
Exclusively.
But do we factor in guys who have an impact? Like, for example, Evan Frank, right? He may not have the best stats compared to Pat St. Armand, but he might be the better quarterback in terms of the value of the trophy. Would you not say?
No.
Evan Frank has better stats than Pat St. Amand.
But I say at the end of the day,
Evan Frank has more interceptions in fewer attempts.
He has a much better QB rating, and he has a much higher completion percentage.
so what
as well.
should that be a factor then, Alex, as a quarterback yourself?
Yeah, the way I always look at it, and this is my personal opinion, and I don't know how much it coincides with the actual formula that you guys use, but you have like the filling stats, the yardage, the touchdowns, right? You have the bulk stats, and then you have the efficiency stats. You have the QBR, and you have the completion percentage. And we want the quarterback that has the best balance of those two at the end of the season. QBR is a great indicator. It's not all conclusive, but it's a great indicator of touchdowns to interceptions, including yards per pass and completion percentage. But you also need to have those content stats. You need the yards, you need the touchdowns. So that's why I think if you look at a guy like Evan Frank, who's leading in yards, leading in touchdowns, and has the best QB rating, he has the best of both worlds at the midseason point. Pat St. Amand's not too far behind. And our very own Jeremy White, from the scorekeeper, I believe, right?
Yep.
He's also having a very good first half of the season as well. Plus, we don't factor in his 100 rushing yards. So those are the 3 contenders that I could see off a quick glance.
To go back to your point, though,
Yes.
the reason it's statistical merit is to remove the bias of the FPF staff on, oh, we see more games from this person, or, oh, this person's more of a familiar face and we know what they're capable of. Or things of that nature. It is strictly statistical merit that will give you this award.
Eagle.
We got some Facebook Live chat.
Oh,
Are they Div D related or are they on topic?
CFX Cassette says Arnaud Desjardins for MVP, and then Marc-André answers back, Arnaud is the best arm by far in the
Yeah,
division.
stop eating sunflower seeds in silence, then we'll give you some votes.
CFAX is talking about his own quarterback.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
I mean,
And
why would you say anybody
Yeah.
else is deserving of that award other than your
sunflower
guy?
seed man over there, Arnaud Desjardins. All right, receiver of the year, and it looks like Tom Zorko heading to the last half of the season is your lead horse. 30 for 444, 12 TDs. And I'll get to this next guy, Louis Manning, in 2 seconds here, who has 24 catch for 377, 12 TDs. Gentlemen, is that your lead horse in Tom Zorko?
Yes, because he also has the quarterback that will feed him the ball almost exclusively. Clinker's Louis Bégin or Louis Manning, as you're about to allude to, does have that, but we talk about his predisposition to injuries, I guess. So it's possible that he may not close out the season.
He's also running away with the two-way award.
Yes.
And as we know, two-way trumps receiver when it comes down to it.
So just not to jump ahead here, guys, quickly, but do you think Manning will be the two-way player of the year then?
Potentially,
Two-way
yes.
player, yes.
All right.
Manning, yes.
I would say the likelihood would be two-way player, then defensive player of the year, then receiver.
Okay. Steph, Tom Zorko is your guy?
It's Thomas Yorko. Listen, I've been watching Los Avocados for the last 2 seasons, and Vasquez just, it's as if he doesn't even have to look at Thomas, and he could just toss it up, and Thomas is at the receiving end of that ball, and he's running in for an end zone, for the end zone. And it's like, it's come second nature to them. Thomas Yorko is probably one of the toughest receivers to match up with in Div E because he has, his route running is great. I mean, his main thing is a fly route, which is, it usually works because he uses his speed to get ahead of the game. But like his slants, his curls, all this, he could turn a corner and he could catch speed, and it's tough to just guard him. It's just he's my pick for the receiver of the year award.
So defense, we talk about two-way, Louis Bégin.
Yes.
Shouldn't he not win defense of the year?
Well, technically, two-way is more prestigious.
It is, but should he not win defense of the year because his defense stats are far superior?
Are stupid good
5 pick sixes and
on 8 INTs.
Mind you, I watched one of the game that he took 3 pick sixes to the house, but he
did
took
he,
them.
Did he dedicate this to Peyton Manning though?
I'm not sure, but all I know is the back of his jersey says Manning. He has the captain on his jersey, and he's number 18. But like as I was about to say, he had 3 interceptions and 3 pick sixes in one game against Dude Where's the End Zone, and he was just running back against a team that just wasn't trying because the game was over.
So that should devalue the pick sixes then.
I'm not saying devalue. I'm just saying it seems like it's ridiculous, but there was a point that the team just didn't run after him. Like they just gave up on the game, and he just returned it for a touchdown. So yeah, no, but his defensive skill, no joke. It's serious. He's very good. He knows how to cover, and he's always seems to be in the best position to pass the fences and into. So he is my defensive player.
Although more recently, the person who wins two-way player is traditionally stronger on one side of the ball than the other, but that they're so dominant on one side that the other side is like above average enough for them to qualify for MVP, right? So he would fit into that category of super dominant on defense, but still doing really well on offense.
So should he win both awards then?
No,
Receiver
No.
of the year is Thomas.
because two-way encapsulates both.
Right, but if he has the best defensive stats, should he not merit both awards?
So then, so what you're saying is he would win receiver of the year and defensive player of the
Yeah,
year,
but-
and then someone else
but-
gets two-way player.
But
And
two-way, he's excelled on both sides, right? He's number
Yes.
2 in receiving. He's number 1, far and superior on defense. But that means you're going to say Vincent Benjamin, for example, from Los Bandidos, is the next guy in line to win defensive player.
I don't think so. My argument would be depending on how he paces the rest of the season right now. Nathan Plant, who is the rusher for Average Joe's right now, has 12 sacks. In 5 games, you pace that out over 10 games, 24 sacks is probably enough to get you defensive player of the year.
So if I were to understand this correctly, in a FPF Commissioner Mokan world, that a same person can win 3 separate awards in the same division?
Yes.
Why not? It happens in college football.
Okay.
I'm just saying it happens in college football. You can win the Heisman, you can win the Davy, you can win the Lombardi, you can win whatever award out there. The Outland Trophy, the whole 9.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know.
Mokan does things differently. You know, he's just.
I think
he's
he
a man
should-
of his
look,
own
if-
rules.
So
if you're going based on stats, right?
Yes.
Stats-driven
Stats.
So
awards.
Benjamin's going to win the receiver of the year,
Defense
the
and
two-way
two-way,
player, the
yeah.
Mina.
Well, you have Zorko winning receiver of the year, guys. Let's not jump ahead of ourselves here.
All I have to say to this, and I'm going to bring up some past wounds, is that everybody who's in contention better hope that Simon doesn't forget to list them in the nomination list. Otherwise, they won't get the award, no matter
Simon
how
Dagier
well they
won the award
play.
himself. No one voted. Simon Dagier.
Simon Dagenet, two-way player of the year in E.
not
Simon, you
forget-
don't play in E.
A la Robbie
Let's
Deschamps.
not forget Robbie Dejean,
Yeah.
the best receiver in Div
No, it
3,
wasn't mentioned.
not given the reward simply because Simon left him off the ballot.
Let's not forget, Simon Dagier put himself in the All-Star game. Spring, I'll put myself in the All-Star game. Why not? Quickly, guys, the team that's impressed you the most in E is who?
For me, I believe that it's look, Los Avocados are a complete team. Okay, they are my pick to win the championship. I could be wrong. I'm just assuming that if they continue this level of play, and if the Vasquez Yorko connection doesn't stop, or someone can't put it into it.
I love how Swedish she is. Yorko? Thomas Yorko?
It's Yorko.
Scandinavian comes out for
It's
Stefano.
Yorko, no?
Zorko.
Zorko? Okay,
Yeah,
I always thought it was Yorko.
You watch a lot of big
Zorko.
Connects
Okay,
hockey
my
over
bad.
there.
My bad if you're watching.
Yorko is what Rob Campana calls me when he's trying to say Yorgos.
Oh, well, that's different. So, yeah, if that connection continues, then Los Avocados are the team to beat, in my opinion.
Jim, what team is impressing?
We talked about Clinkers before. One Speed Power, just because they were a big question mark preseason, and the fact that they're doing this well is impressive. And I even wrote on my script notes, Go Gang, brackets, obviously. So, obviously, Go Gang, impressed.
All right, last of the undefeateds here. Guardians, Los Avocados, they played this week. 5-0 both teams. Guardians, one of the better defenses, only giving up what amounts to be 12 points a game so far this year. Both teams can score points at a high click. Going into the position by position here, who has the edge at quarterback between Guardians and Los Avocados, gentlemen?
Josh Vasquez.
Yeah, it's Josh Vasquez, in my opinion.
Can he win this game all by himself?
No.
No. He can't. He needs to go with the he needs to go with what's worked with him so far.
Unless he will play defense and physically stop Louis Bijan from scoring
He doesn't do
touchdowns
that.
and taking interceptions, he cannot win this game
If
by
they're being
himself.
Peyton Manning on the sidelines, then Louis Bijan will be distracted by that. Eagle, do you have an edge on this? Of course not. You're eating the puffs, of course. Receiver edge. Who has that? Are we going to go with Los Avocados with Tom Zarco?
No.
So you take the quality or the numbers of players of Guardians being the better than the quality of Tom Zarco?
Correct, yes. Because Guardians have Louis Bijan, who is on pace with Tom Zorco, as we said, same amount of touchdowns, a few less receptions and yards. And then after that, their strength at receiver is a little bit stronger than the residual players on Avocados.
Steph, your thoughts?
Listen, I believe that Los Avocados is Thomas Zorco. If they stop him, then Guardians will indeed win this game because Vasquez doesn't have the ability to. Well, he does. I just haven't seen it because it just keeps working with Los Avocados with Thomas Zorco.
It's going to be a tough habit to break, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creature of habit.
Yeah. So that's why.
Who's more likely to be stopped, Zorco or Bijan? One word answer.
Most likely to be stopped is probably Zorco.
GM. Zorco or Bijan?
Zorco, sure.
Okay. Best defense, are we going with the agreement that Guardians' defense is second to none, that they can probably put the clamps on Los Avocados?
Yes.
Yes, they could. They could. If they shut down then yeah, they're good. They're good to go.
Eagle, the strength of schedule for Guardians and Los Avocados is what right now?
The Avocado schedule is way harder up to date than the Guardians was. The Guardians had a cakewalk up to this point.
Okay, so whoever wins this game, guys, how high would you put? Not like don't have to give me a number. If you were to rank them in E1, are they a upper E1 team or are they a lower half E1 team playoff?
They're upper E1.
Where would you rank them? But don't give me a number.
Upper or lower? That's
Upper
all.
I
E1.
even wrote a number.
Go
I
ahead.
said fifth.
Fifth.
Yeah.
Oh, so you like mid-table.
Well, they're moving up, right? Like
Right, you're right. All right.
So the team that loses is 5-1, right?
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the team that wins is 6-0.
So let's not throw them under the bus.
Oh, we
just for losing
can. We
one
can.
game,
No,
right?
we can't. We can't.
What I find
Unfortunately.
interesting about this as well is that Thomas Zorco and Kevin Marcel are both like premier rushers in higher divisions, and neither of them have really rushed. So I think that to throw both opposing teams for a loop, like put your best player at rusher, like on both sides, put Marcel at rusher and put Zorco at rusher and see what happens. Like that would be my game
So
plan
who-
going. And you need to limit these quarterbacks who are some of the top quarterbacks in the division as well. Like
So who would,
change
have,
up.
who would have the better day rushing the quarterback, Marcel or Zorco?
Marcel.
Kevin Marcel, no doubt.
All right. It is now time for the.
Games of the week.
All right.
I'm on this side of the
Games
table.
week.
I know, but he doesn't know the flow we have, you and I.
So I'm going to try and get because there's a lot of divisional games this week, so I'm going to try and pick some from every division. So first off, we're going to have, let's see if I can find a good one, Pension Plan and Fighting Flamingos.
Flamingos.
Flamingos, yes.
It's been impressive. Like I was impressed with how well Vince Pizzano was able to do at receiver, but he's such an asset to that team at quarterback, and it sucks to see someone sidelined for any injury.
I'm taking nothing away from Mario. It's just that I feel like when he sees the rusher, it just throws him off entirely. Like I see him warm up, he's slinging daggers and stuff. It's perfect. But then the rusher comes, and he feels pressured. I guess he's used to coverage or something. But like the rusher comes, it just throws him off his game. So I that's why the Flamingos have the advantage.
Blind prediction from Halawak. Do you like Flamingos or Pension Plan? Without knowing who these teams are.
I love Flamingo chicken nuggets, so give me the Flamingos.
That's not a
in
bad
this
chicken nugget, by the way. Next.
All right, we got the U and Loyola's finest.
That's a
Oh,
good
that's a
game.
good
That's
game.
a good heavyweight fight. I'm going to have to go with the U to win this game.
The U are definitely the favorite. There's just something about like the fire inside Loyola's finest, like
Yeah.
the former Dawson's Calf team. That like I will take the underdog in this one.
All right.
No, I
Steph?
believe the U is gonna come out victorious, and this Evan Frank is gonna find a way to make that to turn that attitude against them. You know what I mean?
The blind pick, please.
The U.
All right. Next.
We got Dude, Where's the End Zone versus Krakens.
Dude, where's the end zone?
Oh man,
Please tell me they're on my field this week.
that's a tough choice. I believe that Dude Where's the End Zone will probably win this game unless Kraken figures it out.
They won't.
Overnight.
GM, who do you got?
I have a tie.
Okay,
Oh,
tie it
that's
is.
good.
Who you got?
Well done.
Unleash the Kraken.
Okay.
Oh, that's cracking.
We got
What's Kraken?
Ducks and Jean-Guy.
Jean coming off a big one over pension plan. Give him the Ducks.
Yeah, give me the Ducks too.
Yeah, the Ducks are probably gonna find a way to come out victorious.
Ducks all
right,
day, baby.
Ducks.
We got Orsa and Number Juan.
Number one.
Now, see, Orsa is a bunch of young guys. It's their first season. So, but see, I find that they have too many players. Like, they have 6 players on offense, 6 different players on defense. I feel like sometimes that goes against the whole, the momentum of the game. So, I'm going to give the edge to number 1.
Yeah, and number one also have the FPF experience and depth from the higher divisions as well. Dave DePaula, Daniel O'Donnell. Yeah, I like this team too much to go against them.
Big game for number one. If they win, they put themselves higher up. If they lose, they might fall into the lower rank. Next.
And last one for today, we're going to do Brewers
Well,
and
hold on. We
replacements.
didn't pick our pick game here. Los Avocados against Guardians.
Well, you guys talked about it.
We didn't pick. We're gonna make our
Okay,
pick.
fine. Okay, well,
That game they
last
pick is
game-
done. No, that game's done. We're going with our game now.
Second last game is Brewers replacements.
Replacements.
Replacements are probably going to win that game.
Yeah.
I'll
Fair
nod.
enough.
I'm
Clean
on
sweep,
camera now,
replacements.
So
All right. Here we go. And
And
last
now we have Guardians, Avocados.
game.
What do you think we're gonna pick based on how the discussion went just now? Why don't you make our picks for us?
I'm going with Los Avocados. Booyah.
Mocon's agreeing with me on this one. I like that.
Thank
it's
you.
not a good
And look at Jim. It's like he gives. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Really? Guardians.
Oh.
Who you got?
The avocados are ripe, my friends. Give me Los Avocados and Tom's Yorko this week.
Is it
Yorko.
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 Yorkos.
We're going to have to call him down in the final. Magic words, please, Eagle.
I never do magic words.
Good night, Saudi Arabia.
Magic words?
Good, that's Saudi